5 months ago, I was shy, scared, and almost gave up on English. Today, I can speak with confidence, understand movies, and connect with the world. Welcome to Easy English Official. In this video, I will share my personal journey, the secrets I discovered, and simple steps that anyone can follow to improve English fast. If you want to speak confidently and finally enjoy learning English, stay with me until the end. You are about to change your life. Chapter 1. My first problem. The language barrier. When I was younger, I often wondered why learning English felt so difficult. At school, teachers gave us grammar rules and long vocabulary lists. I worked hard to memorize them, but in real life they didn't help me much. I tried to watch movies or listen to songs in English, but I couldn't understand. Every time I failed, I felt like English was a mountain too high to climb. This problem made me feel small when I met other people who spoke English confidently. I wanted to join conversations, but my fear stopped me. Even simple greetings made me nervous, and my mind went blank. I thought, why is my life like this? Why can't I do what others do so easily? These questions played in my head again and again. At that time, English was not just a school subject for me. It was like a wall between me and the world. I saw opportunities pass me by because I couldn't speak up. I was shy to ask questions in class. I was afraid to talk to foreigners who visited my city. My silence was heavy, and it made me feel alone. I remember sitting in my room after class, looking at my English books with frustration. The pages were full of rules, but they didn't give me real confidence. I wanted to speak freely, but the words never came out. It was like my tongue was locked, and I had lost the key. That sadness stayed with me every single day. Sometimes I asked myself, maybe English is not for me. This thought scared me, because deep inside, I loved the language. I loved the sound of songs, the rhythm of conversations, the stories in movies. But my love turned into sadness, because I couldn't join in. I watched from the outside, wishing I could enter that world. My friends often laughed when they spoke in English, but I stayed quiet. They looked comfortable, while I felt embarrassed. I pretended not to care, but inside, I cared a lot. Every mistake felt like a wound, and every silence felt like failure. The language barrier wasn't just about words, it was about my heart. I tried many times to study harder, hoping that effort alone would fix the problem. I stayed up late memorizing, repeating sentences, and practicing grammar drills. But when the moment came to use English in real life, nothing worked. The pressure froze me, and I felt ashamed. It seemed like no matter how much I tried, the wall stayed strong. My confidence was very low, and it affected other parts of my life. I started avoiding situations where I needed English. I skipped events, I said no to opportunities, and I closed myself off. This wasn't just about language anymore. It was about losing chances to grow. The barrier grew taller, and I felt smaller. But even during these dark times, a small voice inside me said, "Don't give up." That voice was weak, but it was there. It reminded me that millions of people had learned English before me. If they could do it, maybe I could too. I didn't believe it fully, but I wanted to hold on to that hope. The truth is, I was not lazy. I was working hard, but I was working in the wrong way. My focus was on grammar and memorization, not on real practice. I thought knowing the rules was enough, but it wasn't. Real life needed more than just knowledge. It needed courage, practice, and mistakes. I began to realize that my biggest problem was not English itself, but my fear of it. The fear of making mistakes kept me silent. The fear of judgment kept me away from practice. This fear was the real barrier, stronger than any grammar rule or vocabulary list. Understanding this was painful, but also important. That was the moment I started to think differently. Instead of blaming myself for being bad at English, I began to see the problem clearly. I was not broken. I just needed a new way to learn. The barrier I faced was not permanent. It was only a challenge waiting for the right solution. Chapter 2. A New Start. There was a day when I felt so low that I almost gave up on English. I sat quietly, wondering if all my efforts were a waste of time. My books were open in front of me, but my heart was closed. The sadness was heavy, and I needed something new. That sadness became the seed of my change. I told myself that English was not just another subject at school, it was something much bigger than rules and exams. English was a bridge, a way to connect with people all over the world. When I realized this, my heart felt a little lighter. I started to see English as a tool for life, not just a grade in class. I remembered a quote by Steve Jobs that touched me deeply. He said, "The only way to do great work is to love what you do." Until then, I never loved English because I treated it like homework. I forced myself to study, but I didn't enjoy it. From that day, I decided to change my view. If English was a bridge to people, then I wanted to cross that bridge. I didn't care how slow I walked, as long as I moved forward. I promised myself that I would find joy in small steps. It didn't need to be perfect, but it needed to be real. That promise gave me courage. So I began a small habit that changed everything. I practiced English for just 30 minutes every single day. It didn't sound like much, but it was enough to start. I chose 30 minutes because I knew I could keep it up. A small habit every day was better than a big plan that I couldn't follow. My practice looked different each day, and that made it exciting. Sometimes I listened to music and tried to sing along. Sometimes I watched short movies and repeated the lines. Sometimes I read the news aloud, even if I didn't understand everything. These small actions became the foundation of my new start. I also allowed myself to make mistakes, and that was a huge change. Before, mistakes made me feel ashamed, but now they made me curious. Each mistake was a teacher. Each wrong word was a step forward. Instead of fear, I felt a new kind of strength growing inside me. The first few weeks were not easy, but they were powerful. I often used the wrong words, and I sometimes felt silly. But something important happened. I didn't stop. I kept going day after day because my new goal was not perfection. It was practice. That made all the difference. One method I found very useful was talking to myself in English. At first it felt strange, but soon it became fun. When I drove my car, I described what I saw on the road. The car in front of me is red. It is moving fast. These simple sentences were real practice, and they gave me confidence. When I cooked breakfast, I spoke in English about what I was doing. I'm making a cup of coffee. I'm cooking eggs and toast. These sentences might sound small, but they were real communication. My brain slowly began to think in English. That was the magic of daily practice. My family sometimes laughed when they heard me speaking alone, but I didn't care. I knew that this small habit was making me stronger. I started to enjoy the process more than the result. Learning English was no longer a punishment. It became a game I could play every day. I also began to set a 5-month plan for myself. I wrote down small goals like watch one movie this week or write one page in English. These goals were simple, but they kept me focused. I didn't want to feel lost anymore. A plan gave me direction and hope. Every day that I followed my plan, I felt proud. Even if progress was small, I celebrated it. If I understood one more sentence than yesterday, that was a victory. If I remembered one new word, that was success. My new start was not about big wins, but about small daily victories. Soon, I realized that 30 minutes of practice had more power than I imagined. It wasn't just about time, it was about consistency. One day built on another day, and slowly the results appeared. Like drops of water filling a cup, my practice filled me with knowledge and confidence. There were days when I didn't feel like practicing, but I reminded myself of my promise. I told myself, 30 minutes is not much. Just do it. Once I started, the 30 minutes went by quickly. Sometimes I even wanted to keep going longer. That was the beauty of a small habit. I stopped comparing myself to others, and that gave me peace. Before, I always felt behind my friends, but now I only compared myself to yesterday's version of me. If today I was better than yesterday, that was enough. This thought gave me freedom to grow at my own pace. Music became a great friend during this journey. I listened to English songs and tried to sing them word by word. At first, my pronunciation was terrible, but slowly it improved. Music made learning fun. I wasn't just studying, I was enjoying. That joy was my new energy. Movies also became my teacher. I watched them first without subtitles, and then again with English subtitles. I repeated my favorite lines until they felt natural in my mouth. Sometimes I watched the same movie many times. Each time I understood a little more. Each time I grew stronger. The news also helped me. I read short articles and underlined words I didn't know. I didn't try to understand everything. I focused only on the main idea. That simple approach made reading less scary. Over time, I could understand more, and I felt proud of myself. I kept a diary to write my thoughts in English. At first, my diary was full of mistakes, but I didn't mind. Writing every day helped me see my progress. It showed me that my thoughts could live in English, not just in my own language. That was a powerful feeling. Sometimes I wrote about my dreams for the future. Other times I wrote about my daily life. The topics didn't matter. The habit mattered. Each page was a step on the bridge I wanted to cross. Each sentence was proof that I was learning. My diary became a friend on this journey. The more I practiced, the more my confidence grew. I started to feel that English was not my enemy. It was becoming my partner, helping me connect with the world. This change in mindset was the real new start. I was no longer afraid of mistakes. I was excited to learn. Looking back, I saw how far I had come in such a short time. A few weeks earlier, I felt hopeless. Now, I felt hopeful. The wall of fear was still there, but it had cracks. Through those cracks, I could see the light. That light was possibility, and it pushed me forward. I also learned that real practice was more important than new words. In the past, I collected vocabulary without using it. Now I practiced simple sentences again and again. This practice made my English stronger than learning 100 new words in one day. Practice was the secret. My friends noticed the change in me. They saw me speaking more, trying more, and smiling more. Some of them asked how I was improving so fast. I told them my secret, 30 minutes every day. They were surprised, but I knew it was true. The habit was small, but the power was big. My new start was not about being perfect. It was about being consistent. I learned that big success is built on small daily actions. My 30 minutes a day became the building blocks of my new English life. That realization gave me strength to continue. 5 months seemed like a long time when I started, but each day brought me closer. With every small step, I was building a new version of myself. English was no longer just a subject. It was a bridge, a tool, and a dream. My new start was the first step on that bridge. This chapter of my life taught me that sadness can be the beginning of growth. What felt like a failure became my turning point. My tears became motivation, and my frustration became fuel. From that moment on, I knew that I could change. My new start was real. Chapter 3. My secrets, building my life with a new language. When I look back at my journey, I realize that change did not happen by accident. It came from 3 powerful secrets that I discovered along the way. These secrets were not from textbooks or teachers. They came from real practice and real mistakes. They turned my fear into confidence. The first secret was simple but powerful. Listen and speak every day. At first, I thought I needed to learn thousands of new words before I could speak. But the truth was different. Speaking with the words I already knew was enough to begin. Practice made those words come alive. Listening became my daily training. I watched movies and TV shows in English, not to study, but to feel the rhythm of the language. At first, I understood almost nothing, but I kept listening, and slowly the words started to make sense. My ears became stronger every day. To help myself, I created a simple system. First, I watched without subtitles. Then, I watched again with English subtitles. Finally, I repeated the lines I liked. This routine made the language natural in my mouth. I felt like I was living inside the movie. One movie that changed my practice was The Shawshank Redemption. I watched it 10 times, each time learning something new. I repeated the lines until they sounded natural. It was not about memorizing. It was about feeling the flow. That practice made my speaking smoother. Speaking every day was not easy at first. I felt shy, even when I spoke alone. But the more I did it, the less fear I felt. I discovered that speaking to myself was the safest way to practice. No one laughed at me. No one corrected me. I could just keep trying. The second secret was even more powerful. Think in English. This was a game changer. Before, I always translated from my language to English. That process was slow and painful. But when I started thinking directly in English, my brain worked faster. It felt like a new world opened. I began small by describing what I saw. If I was walking, I thought, the sky is blue, the air is cool, I am walking to school. These sentences were simple, but they trained my brain. Thinking in English became my private practice every day. This practice turned my daily life into a classroom. Cooking breakfast became a lesson. Driving became a lesson. Even walking in the park became a lesson. Every action in my life gave me a chance to think in English. I was training my brain all the time. At first, it was hard to keep this habit. My brain wanted to return to my native language. But I kept pushing gently, telling myself, just one more sentence in English. Over time, it became easier. Soon, I was thinking in English without even noticing. This habit made me faster when speaking to others. My words came more naturally, because I had already practiced in my head. Thinking in English was like building a road for my speech. When I opened my mouth, the road was already there. The third secret was writing every day. Writing helped me see my mistakes clearly. At first, I wrote only short sentences in my diary. They were full of errors, but I didn't care. Each mistake was a chance to learn. Slowly, my writing improved. Sometimes I wrote about simple things, like what I ate or what I saw. Other times I wrote about my dreams and my goals. The topics didn't matter. What mattered was the act of writing. Each page was proof that I was learning. Writing also gave me more courage to speak. When I wrote down new words, I practiced them later in conversation. Writing became a bridge between my thoughts and my speech. It made my English stronger in every way. At first, I didn't know how to spell many words. I often guessed, and many guesses were wrong. But I learned from every mistake. I checked dictionaries, asked friends, and corrected myself. Each correction was another step forward. The diary became my secret teacher. It didn't judge me, it didn't laugh at me, and it was always ready to listen. Writing gave me a safe place to practice freely. It was like speaking to myself on paper. That freedom gave me confidence. Some days I didn't feel like writing, but I wrote anyway. Even 1 or 2 sentences were enough. The habit was more important than the length. By keeping the habit alive, I kept my progress alive. That consistency was everything. Over time, these 3 secrets, listening, thinking, and writing, worked together. Listening improved my ear, thinking improved my fluency, writing improved my accuracy. Together, they built my new life with English. Each secret gave strength to the others. I realized that learning a language is not about talent. It is about practice. Anyone can listen, think, and write. Anyone can follow these secrets. They are simple, but their power is huge. That gave me hope that others could succeed like me. The journey was not always smooth. Some days I felt tired, and some days I felt slow, but the habits kept me moving forward. Even when my progress was invisible, I knew I was growing. Like a tree, my roots were becoming stronger every day. I also learned to enjoy the process. I stopped waiting for big results and started loving small improvements. Understanding one more line in a movie made me smile. Writing 1 page without mistakes felt like victory. These small joys kept my heart alive. Listening, thinking, and writing were more than language exercises. They became life lessons. They taught me patience, discipline, and courage. They showed me that small steps lead to big success. They reminded me that progress is built daily. These secrets also helped me in other parts of my life. I began to listen more carefully to people, not just in English, but in my own language. I learned to think before I spoke. I learned to write my thoughts clearly. The habits of English became habits of life. I realized that mistakes were not enemies, but friends. Without mistakes, I could not improve. Every time I failed, I grew stronger. This mindset gave me power not just in English, but in everything I tried to do. Mistakes became my teachers. The secrets were simple, but they were not easy. They required daily effort and a strong mind, but the rewards were beautiful. With each passing week, I felt my English growing more natural. I was no longer just learning English, I was living it. The biggest change was inside me. I stopped being afraid of English. I stopped feeling shy and weak. I started to see myself as a learner, not a failure. That identity gave me confidence. I felt proud to be on this journey. Looking back, I understand why these 3 secrets worked so well. They matched the way we learn naturally. Babies listen before they speak. They think in the language around them. They practice by trying, failing, and trying again. I was just following the same path. These secrets turned English from a wall into a bridge. They gave me a way to cross into a bigger world. They showed me that learning is not about speed. It is about persistence. As long as I kept walking, I would reach the other side. Today, I want to share these secrets with everyone. They are not expensive. They don't need special teachers or schools. They only need time, patience, and courage. If I could do it, anyone can do it. These secrets belong to all of us. When I started this journey, I was lost and afraid. Now, I feel found and strong. The 3 secrets guided me step by step, turning fear into power. They are my gifts, and I want to pass them to you. Use them, and you will see the change. This chapter of my life proved something important. Success is built on simple daily actions. Listening, thinking, and writing are not magical tricks. They are habits. And habits, when repeated with love and patience, can transform a life. So, these are my 3 secrets. They are not really secrets anymore, because I want the whole world to know them. They gave me confidence, joy, and connection. They can do the same for you. This was how I built my life with a new language. Chapter 4. Problems and Small Successes. Every journey has difficulties, and learning English was no exception for me. There were many days when I felt tired and discouraged. Even though I practiced daily, sometimes the results seemed invisible. It was frustrating to work hard and not see progress. That feeling almost made me stop. There were moments when I asked myself, why am I still doing this? I wanted quick results, but English didn't work that way. It grew slowly, like a seed under the ground. I couldn't always see the change, but something was happening inside me. Patience was the key, but patience was not easy. I often compared myself to others, and that made me feel worse. My friends seemed to improve faster. Some people could speak more confidently, while I still struggled. The comparisons stole my joy and made me doubt myself. I felt small and behind in the race. Sometimes I thought about quitting completely. I imagined what life would be like without English. Maybe it would be easier to stop trying. But deep inside, I knew that giving up would not bring peace. It would only bring regret. That thought kept me going. My biggest problem was staying consistent during hard times. When I was sad, 30 minutes felt like 3 hours. My motivation disappeared, and excuses came easily. But I remembered my promise to myself: small daily steps matter more than big efforts once in a while. So I changed my mindset about practice. Instead of thinking about hours of study, I focused only on 30 minutes. Even when I was tired, I told myself, just start. Do something small. Once I began, the minutes went by, and I felt proud that I didn't quit. I also learned that resting is part of the journey. At first, I thought resting meant failure, but later, I understood that rest gives power. When I took a short break, I came back stronger. Resting was not quitting. It was recharging my energy to continue. Every problem I faced gave me a lesson. The sadness taught me patience. The fear taught me courage. The mistakes taught me persistence. Without these problems, I would not have discovered my strength. The journey was hard, but the hardness made me grow. In the middle of the difficulties, I found small successes that kept me alive. They were not big victories, but they gave me hope. Each small success felt like a light in the darkness. Those lights guided me forward step by step. One small success was understanding a single sentence in a movie without subtitles. For the first time, I laughed at the right moment because I truly understood. That moment was small, but it gave me joy. It told me that my practice was working. Another success was using a new word correctly in conversation. I remember saying a word I had written in my diary, and the person understood me. My heart jumped with happiness. It was proof that my writing practice was giving results. Each time I succeeded, even in a small way, I celebrated. I didn't wait for big milestones. I allowed myself to feel proud of little things. These celebrations gave me energy. They reminded me that progress was real, even if it was slow. The small victories also built my confidence. Each success was like a brick in a wall of strength. Slowly, I created a strong foundation for my learning. With every brick, my fear became smaller. I began to believe in myself again. Sometimes success came in unexpected places. Once, I overheard two people speaking English, and I understood part of their conversation. I didn't join in, but I smiled to myself. I felt like I had unlocked a secret door. These moments gave me quiet joy. Even when problems continued, I remembered my small wins. They were like fuel for my journey. When I felt like quitting, I thought about those victories. They reminded me that success was possible. They gave me the power to keep going. The combination of problems and small successes shaped me. The problems kept me humble, while the successes kept me motivated. Together, they created balance. I learned that both were necessary for growth. Without problems, I would not value success. I began to see problems differently. Instead of enemies, they became teachers. Each difficulty was an opportunity to grow. Each failure was a chance to learn. This new perspective changed my feelings. I no longer feared problems. I welcomed them. Of course, there were still days when I cried in frustration. Learning was not always beautiful. Sometimes it was messy, painful, and slow. But I realized that pain is part of progress. Without pain, the victory would not feel so sweet. I also started sharing my journey with friends. I told them about my small wins, and they encouraged me. Sometimes they even celebrated with me. Sharing made the victories bigger and the problems smaller. I felt supported instead of alone. I learned to focus on effort, not just results. If I gave my 30 minutes each day, I considered it a success. Even if I didn't see improvement, the effort itself was valuable. That shift in focus gave me peace. It allowed me to be proud every day. Over time, the problems that once felt huge became smaller. My fear of speaking turned into curiosity. My sadness turned into determination. My failures turned into lessons. The changes were slow, but they were real. Looking back, I realized that success was not one big event. It was the collection of many small victories. Each little step brought me closer to my goal. The journey was made of pieces, and each piece mattered. The truth is, small successes are stronger than big failures. A single win can shine brighter than many losses. That light kept me alive through the darkest moments. It showed me that I was still moving, still growing, still alive in the journey. I also learned that problems never fully disappear. They come back in new forms. But now, I face them differently. Instead of fear, I feel ready. I know that each problem has a solution. I trust myself more than before. The journey of learning English taught me something about life itself. Life is not about avoiding problems. It is about overcoming them. Life is not about waiting for big success. It is about enjoying small victories. That wisdom changed me deeply. The most important secret was consistency. 30 minutes a day seemed small, but it was powerful. It carried me through problems and helped me collect small wins. That habit became my anchor. It kept me steady even when storms came. As time passed, my collection of small victories grew larger. They became a treasure inside me. Whenever I felt weak, I opened that treasure and remembered my progress. The memory of success gave me new energy. It reminded me that I was capable. In the end, problems and small successes were not separate things. They were two sides of the same coin. The problems tested me, and the successes rewarded me. Together, they created the story of my growth. That story was stronger because it had both. This chapter of my journey proved something important. The path to success is not straight. It has ups and downs, sadness and joy, problems and victories. But if you keep walking, you will move forward. That is the real secret of progress. So I accepted my problems as part of my learning. I welcomed my small successes as gifts along the way. Together, they built my confidence. Together, they gave me the strength to continue. This balance made my journey not just possible, but beautiful. Chapter 5. The Result and a Change of View. After 5 months. 5 months can feel short, but when you work every single day, the results can be surprising. At the beginning, I had no confidence and felt shy whenever I tried to speak. My words came out slowly, and I often stopped in the middle of a sentence. But now, after 5 months, my voice is stronger. I can speak more freely and with courage. The first big change I noticed was in my listening. Before, English movies and songs were like noise to me. I could hear the words, but they had no meaning. After months of practice, I suddenly understood full conversations. I remember watching a movie and smiling because I didn't need subtitles. That small moment made me feel like a champion. Speaking also transformed for me in ways I never imagined. I used to avoid conversations, afraid of mistakes. Now, I welcome them. I can order food in English, talk with strangers, and even join discussions. My sentences are not perfect, but they are clear enough to connect. That was the true goal, to connect with people. My confidence grew each day, not because I became perfect, but because I learned to accept my mistakes. Mistakes are no longer my enemy. They are signs that I am learning. This new view gave me freedom. It made English feel less like a test and more like a real part of my life. After 5 months, I also discovered new opportunities. Doors began to open that were once closed to me. I could apply for jobs that required English. I could join international communities online. These opportunities were not only about language, they were about freedom and choice. Friendship was another result I didn't expect. By speaking English, I connected with people from different countries. I laughed with them, learned about their cultures, and shared my own stories. Without English, these friendships would have been impossible. Language truly became a bridge. Looking back, I see how much my view has changed. At first, I thought English was only a school subject. Now I know it is more than grammar and vocabulary. It is a tool for life, a key that unlocks new experiences. This change in perspective gave me motivation to continue learning. One of the greatest results was the confidence I felt inside myself. English was not just about words, it was about proving to myself that I could do hard things. Each success in English gave me strength for other challenges in life. It taught me that growth comes from effort. I also began to notice that people respected my effort. When I spoke in English, Even imperfectly, others smiled and encouraged me. That positive energy pushed me forward. It showed me that the world does not expect perfection. The world values effort and courage. The process of learning English gave me discipline. For 5 months, I practiced almost every day. That discipline started to show up in other parts of my life. I became more organized, more patient, and more focused. English became the teacher of my character, not just my language. The results after 5 months were not magic. They were the product of small steps repeated daily. I realized that success does not come from big moments, but from consistency. This lesson will stay with me forever in every goal I chase. When I think about the old version of myself, I feel proud. The shy, nervous person who was afraid to speak is gone. In that place stands a person who dares to try, who dares to make mistakes, and who dares to grow. That transformation is my greatest victory. I also learned that English gave me a sense of belonging in the world. I no longer felt like an outsider when I traveled online or in real life. I could understand, share, and connect. That feeling of belonging was priceless. It made me feel at home in the global community. Another result was the joy of understanding stories. Movies, books, and songs opened new worlds for me. Each time I understood a line in a song or a joke in a movie, it felt like a secret door opened. These joys made my journey fun, not just serious. My family and friends noticed the change too. They were surprised when they heard me speak confidently. Their encouragement gave me extra motivation. I felt proud not only for myself, but also for making them proud. My success became something we shared together. After 5 months, my view of mistakes completely changed. I used to fear them, but now I see them as teachers. Each mistake is a lesson. Each correction is progress. Without mistakes, there is no growth. This view made learning lighter and happier. I also discovered the power of habits. 30 minutes every day gave me more results than many hours once in a while. That simple truth can change any part of life, not just English. It taught me the value of steady effort and patience. One result that surprised me was how English improved my thinking. By practicing in another language, my brain became sharper. I started to notice details more quickly. My memory improved. My creativity grew. Learning English exercised my mind like a muscle. The confidence I built in English started to spread into other parts of my life. I felt braver at work, in school, and in social situations. Learning English became a symbol of my ability to face challenges. It was proof that I could do more than I believed. The change of view was not only about language, but also about life. I began to believe that success is possible for anyone who tries consistently. This belief made me stronger. It gave me hope for the future. It told me that no dream is too big. I also realized that success is not the end, but a beginning. After 5 months, I reached a new level, but I also saw how much more there is to learn. Instead of feeling tired, I felt excited. The journey is long, but now I enjoy the road. The joy of speaking English confidently was worth every struggle. The problems, the sadness, the mistakes, all of them became small when I felt the success. The result made the pain disappear. It showed me that effort is never wasted. My change of view also included gratitude. I became thankful for my problems because they shaped me. I became thankful for my mistakes because they taught me. I became thankful for the journey because it made me strong. Gratitude became my secret power. The most beautiful result was the feeling of freedom. English gave me the freedom to dream bigger, to travel further, and to connect deeper. That freedom is something I will never forget. It is the reward of persistence. 5 months may sound short, but when you use each day wisely, it becomes powerful. My journey is proof of that. Each day counted, each effort mattered, and each mistake pushed me forward. The result was more than I expected. I now see English as a life companion. It is not something I study and forget. It is a part of who I am. It is a friend that grows with me, supports me, and helps me build my future. This change of view makes me excited to continue forever. The result is not just better English. The result is a better me. I became stronger, more confident, and more open to the world. The 5 months shaped me into someone new. That transformation is the greatest success of all. The story of my journey is not only about learning English, it is about proving that small steps can change a whole life. If I can do it, anyone can. That belief is the real result. It gives me hope and power to inspire others. When I look back, I don't only see the problems or the pain. I see the growth, the victories, and the lessons. I see a new version of myself standing proudly. That is the gift of 5 months. That is the change of view. The results remind me that nothing is impossible. With patience, consistency, and hope, we can change our lives. My English journey is just one example. The same truth can work in any dream we chase. That is the beauty of growth. So after 5 months, I stand here grateful, stronger, and more confident. The shy person is gone. The new me is ready to continue the journey. And the best part is, this is only the beginning. Chapter 6. It's time to start your journey. Every story must have a beginning, and today could be yours. My journey started with fear and doubt, but it grew into confidence and strength. I want you to know that your journey can start the same way. You don't need to be perfect. You only need to take the first small step. The truth about learning English is simple. It is not about talent. It is about practice. Every person has the ability to improve, no matter where they begin. If I could do it in 5 months, then so can you. The only requirement is consistency and belief in yourself. When I began, I didn't know where the road would take me. I was uncertain, nervous, and full of questions. But one decision changed everything: the decision to start. Starting is often the hardest part, but once you take that step, the path becomes clearer. Many people wait for the perfect time to begin, but the perfect time never comes. There will always be problems, excuses, or doubts. The best time to start is now. Every day you wait is a day lost. Every day you act is a step toward your dream. Your journey does not need to look like mine. You may have more or fewer hours, different goals, or different methods. What matters is that you make English part of your daily life. Build your own path, one small step at a time. It's important to remember that mistakes are not failures. They are teachers. When you make a mistake, it shows that you are trying. Each mistake is proof that you are moving forward. Celebrate your mistakes because they bring you closer to success. The power of daily habits cannot be ignored. 30 minutes every day sounds small, but it can change your life. It is not about how much time you have, but how often you use it. A small effort repeated daily creates powerful results. Think about what your life could look like 5 months from now. Imagine watching a movie and understanding it without subtitles. Imagine talking with new friends in English and feeling proud. These visions can become real, but only if you begin today. Your journey will not always be easy. There will be days when you feel tired, sad, or unmotivated. That is normal. What matters is that you keep going. Rest when you need to, but never quit. Resting gives strength. Quitting takes it away. Celebrate your small successes along the way. Each new word you understand, each sentence you speak, each moment of courage deserves celebration. Small successes will give you energy to continue. They are the lights that guide you forward. Remember that English is not just a subject. It is a bridge to connect with the world. It gives you opportunities, friendships, and confidence. Learning English is learning to open new doors. Those doors lead to a brighter future. Your journey is not about speed, but about consistency. Some people may learn faster, and some slower. That doesn't matter. What matters is that you move forward at your own pace. Every step, no matter how small, brings you closer. The most important tool you carry is your mindset. If you believe you can, you will. If you believe you cannot, you won't. Your thoughts shape your journey. Choose thoughts of courage, hope, and persistence. They will carry you through. Imagine yourself 1 year from now, looking back at this moment. You will feel proud that you decided to start. The person who takes the first step today is the person who creates tomorrow's success. That person can be you. English is not as difficult as it seems. It only feels big because we imagine it as one huge mountain. But in truth, it is a mountain you climb step by step. Each word is a step, each sentence is a step, and each day is progress. When you doubt yourself, remember my story. I was once shy, afraid, and unsure, yet I became confident and strong. If I could change, so can you. Let my journey be proof that growth is possible for anyone who tries. Don't think that you are too old or too young to begin. English is for everyone, whether you are 14 or 50. Age is not the barrier. The real barrier is fear. Break that fear with action, and you will surprise yourself. The secret to success is not luck. It is not talent. It is daily effort with a strong mind. Each day you practice, you invest in your future. That investment will give you returns for the rest of your life. Sometimes we tell ourselves that we have no time, but time is something we create. If you can spend 30 minutes on your phone, you can spend 30 minutes on English. Replace one habit with another, and your future will change. Every dream requires sacrifice, but the reward is always greater than the cost. Sacrifice 30 minutes of comfort and gain a lifetime of confidence. Sacrifice fear and gain courage. Sacrifice excuses and gain success. The exchange is always worth it. Remember that success does not happen overnight. It grows slowly, like a plant. You water it daily with practice, and it grows silently. One day, you look back and realize how much you have achieved. Patience is the sunlight of progress. Your journey is not about competing with others. It is about becoming a better version of yourself. Compare today's you with yesterday's you. If you are even one step better, then you are succeeding. That is the real measure of growth. English will give you more than words. It will give you confidence, opportunities, friendships, and freedom. These rewards are waiting for you. They are not far away. They are 5 months away if you start today. The journey may be long, but you are not alone. Many people are walking the same road. When you feel weak, remember that others share your struggle. Together, we are stronger. Together, we can inspire each other. The most powerful decision you can make is to begin now. Not tomorrow, not next week. Now. Today is the first page of a new chapter in your life. The pen is in your hand. Write your story with courage. Think of every practice session as an investment. Each minute adds up like coins in a jar. One day, you will look at the jar and see how full it is. That is the power of small, daily actions. They create something big over time. English is a journey of the heart as much as the mind. It teaches patience, persistence, and courage. These qualities will not only help you in English, but in every part of life. That is why your journey matters. So now, it is your turn. My story is finished, but yours is just beginning. Take the lessons you have learned and apply them. Believe in yourself, practice daily, and embrace mistakes. Your success is waiting for you. The best day to begin is today. Start small, start simple, but start. 5 months from now, you will thank yourself. 5 months from now, you will see the change. 5 months from now, you will smile with pride. Thank you for watching this video on Easy English Official. Remember, learning English is not about talent. It is about small daily steps, patience, and courage. If I could transform in just 5 months, you can too. Start today, practice consistently, celebrate your small victories, and never give up. Your journey begins now, and every step you take will bring you closer to speaking English confidently and connecting with the world. See you in the next video.